He's going to take us to a plaque of where John Quincy Adams, our 6th president, sat. He was also in the House of Representatives, and his interaction with a future president, Abraham Lincoln. So here's Speaker Johnson talking about that interaction. Here we go.
This is the bronze plate of John Quincy Adams, and he sat here. This is where his desk was. He is the only former president who served in the House. After he was the 6th president, he ran for Congress, and he served in the state of Massachusetts here. And the reason he came is a really important piece of our history. They called him the hellhound of slavery. They also called him old man eloquent, okay, because he was a great orator. But he came to Congress because he had such a deep moral conviction that we had to end slavery. And sadly, the country was not ready to do that yet. So he kept bringing the resolution over and over and over to do it. And one day on his, I think was his 13th attempt, members of Congress and others said, Mr. President, why are you doing it? What is the point? It is going to fail again. And he said, listen to me carefully. Duty is ours, results are God's, right? Mm-hmm. It's a very liberating way to live. That's exactly what the Bible tells us to do. We're just supposed to be faithful in the little thing God puts before us today, and we trust him with the rest. John Quincy Adams knew he wasn't the sovereign, but that conviction, that deep clarity and conviction that he had a huge impression on everybody around him in the country. He died right here. Well, he died in that room right there. He had a stroke. After the Mexican-American War, there was a move to push slavery further, expand it into the New West. And he was opposing that vehemently. And in February of 1848, as he was making an impassioned speech, he had a stroke and he fell to the floor. So other colleagues grabbed him and they brought him through those white doors over there. That used to be the speaker's room. Now it is the women's reading room. Okay. And it's locked up tonight, but they took and they brought him in and they laid him on a couch. The couch is still there. Reupholstered, but it's still there. And he fell into a coma and he lied there for 2 days until he passed. He died at age 80. His wife was by his side. He had one of the longest careers in American politics in history because he was made an ambassador overseas when he was like 14 years old, right? He was John Adams' son, of course. And they were raised in a culture of faith, and he was a deeply convicted believer. Here's what's so cool about the story, though. It was February 21st, 1848. They buried him on February 26th. One of the 6 pallbearers in the procession was a freshman member of Congress from Illinois named Abraham Lincoln. He was the mentee of John Quincy Adams because Abraham Lincoln was drawn to that conviction. Obviously, seeds planted in his heart, big influence upon him. And then the 6th president influenced the 16th president, who ultimately freed the slaves, right? So you don't never know. We're just supposed to be faithful. We're supposed to sow seeds. We don't know how they're going to be watered. We don't know when it's the final fruition of that work is done, but God calls us to be faithful, and he was, and that's why we memorialize him here.
What an amazing story that John Quincy Adams, our 6th president, literally had a stroke on that spot. That's where the House met. He was serving in the House after he was president, and he influenced Abraham Lincoln. And I love what Speaker Johnson said there. That is true, that we are to do what is right and leave the results to God.